Talking about relationship addiction. We're talking about relationship addiction when we talk about codependency. People who are in codependent relationships are people who form or maintain relationships that are one-sided, emotionally destructive, and or abusive. Saying of the day is you can learn something from anyone, even a fool. If you don't learn nothing else from a fool, you can at least learn what not to do. That's powerful. You see somebody keep going to jail all the time or prison all the time, whatever they doing, do the opposite. This talk is for educational purposes only. It is not a substitute for professional guidance, advice, treatment, and or diagnosis. If you or someone you know is experiencing a mental health crisis, substance use or abuse, or suicidal thoughts, dial 988. 988 is available 24/7 nationwide and staffed by trained crisis counselors who are just a text or a call away. 5 signs you are not ready for a healthy relationship. A lot of people are not. It's pretty much easy to get in a relationship nowadays. It's not really difficult if you make yourself available. You can pull something or somebody. That's not difficult. Thing is, can you enter into and maintain a healthy relationship? That's the trick. That part. Yeah. 5 signs you're not ready for a healthy relationship. More often than not, we can be quick to blame someone else for the problems we face, but are you putting in the same amount of effort on the table? Can you be just as attentive as your partner? Because the thing about relationships is you don't just learn how to love someone. You get in a relationship thinking you're going to learn how to love this person. No, you need to know how to love people before you get into a relationship. You need to know how to love people properly because you're not going to learn it through this relationship. You're going to ruin it. You got to already know how to love somebody else, man. And it's also an experience that teaches you how to be a better person. So when you are in a healthy relationship, you are becoming a better person because of it. If you're in a relationship and you're not becoming a better person by being in that relationship, it's not a healthy relationship. They should be becoming a better person because they in a relationship with you. It goes both ways. You become a better person and they become a better person because y'all together. But if you're not in the mindset of relationship, sometimes it's worth postponing and working on yourself first. Because a lot of times people done been hurt in relationships, so they go into a relationship expecting whoever the new person is to pay for everything the other person did. 5 signs you're not ready for a healthy relationship. Let's get into it. Number 1, you put yourself first before anyone else. You ain't ready for a relationship if you put yourself first before anyone else. Now, check this out now. It's healthy when we prioritize our health and our well-being. Now, don't get me wrong, but there's a difference between finding balance and just being downright selfish. Selfish lovers often suffer from feelings of not being enough. And when they show love to someone, even if it's just a little, they start to worry that it'll not last anyway. So they have this self-defeatist attitude. They have this fear of success. Selfish lovers are deeply troubled because they aren't self-connected. If you take more than you give to your partner, if you take more than you give to your partner, it's important to confront your own pain. That comes from a place of pain and to recognize the areas you need to develop in. It is also helpful to focus your energy on hobbies and activities that make you feel more self-connected, like running, journaling, or meditating. 5 signs you're not ready for a healthy relationship. Number 2, you're prideful and think that you're always right. It's important for both partners to feel heard and understood in a relationship, but factors such as pride can get in the way of that. At the end of the day, you have to understand it's not worth losing someone you love for the sake of being right. You just want to prove them wrong. Sometimes it's better to salvage your relationship than to go through that. Just to prove you right because you come out on the other end. I told you I was right, but then they don't respect you no more and they don't want to be in a relationship with you no more. Good luck with your right. So at the end of the day, you have to understand that it's not worth losing someone you love for the sake of being right. Another reason why some people are reluctant to apologize is because they fear the other person won't take responsibility for their part in the conflict. So a lot of times we waiting on them to say sorry first, or we waiting on them to apologize first. That's pride. And sometimes we got to lead by example. But when you sincerely apologize first, It lets your partner know that you're not proud of the situation and will do better in the future. It is important not to focus on who was right or who was wrong, but rather focus on what the two of you can do to prevent any mishaps or any problems in the future. That's what you want to focus on. 5 signs you're not ready for a healthy relationship. Number 3, you always depend on your partner to make you happy. The codependent relationship addiction. Codependent relationship, people who form or maintain relationships that are one-sided, emotionally destructive, and or abusive. People like this get anxious when they are away from their partner or generally feel lost without them. This might be a sign of codependency. Love is about appreciation and not possession. And codependency comes from a lack of self-sufficiency. So that's what that comes from a lot of times, and is rooted from an unmet childhood needs. It's rooted from our unmet childhood needs. So it goes all the way back to your childhood, this codependency stuff. 5 signs you're not ready for a healthy relationship. Number 4, you expect your partner to read your mind. Communication is an essential part of making relationships work. So if you're passive aggressive and choose not to share with your partner what's upsetting you in fear of creating a conflict, because sometimes people are being passive aggressive and they're mad and there's something that needs to be addressed, but they don't want to say anything because they don't want to cause an argument or a fight. They just deal with it and walk around mad at you. They're testing to see if you care about them. There are some people who you're going to get in a relationship with, and they're not really going to be mad, but they're going to act like they mad because they want to see what you would do. They waiting on you to be like, what's wrong? Nothing wrong. Then why are you upset? I'm not upset. They just want to see how much do you care. Some people quantify caring and love with that, even if they got to create a situation for you to be there for them. If I'm trying to get to know you, and every 5 minutes, do you love me? Do you love me? I'm running in the other direction. I'm for real. I'm not, man, certain things, man, you need to cut it off at the head unless you plan to maintain that. You plan to be with somebody 50 years, and the whole time you in a relationship with them, you love me, you love me, you love me? Are you serious? You expect your partner to read your mind. Communication is an essential part of making relationships work. So if you're passive aggressive and choose not to share with your partner what's upsetting you in fear of creating a conflict, or test if they really care about you, can you honestly be upset with the other person when they don't even have a clue of why you're upset? To straighten your communication skills, avoid attaching blame when you make your I statements. Y'all need to catch this. To improve your communication skills, avoid attaching blame when you make your I statements. Here's an example. Instead of saying, I'm upset with you because you never take out the trash, instead of saying that, you want to say something like, I'm upset and will appreciate it if you could take the trash out when you see that it is full. Do y'all see the difference? That way, you can still let them know what you want without pointing fingers, which can often cause your partner to become defensive and then lead into an argument or a disagreement or hurt feelings. 5 signs you're not ready for a healthy relationship. Number 5, and the final one, you have commitment issues. We're talking about grown people having commitment issues. And if you have commitment issues, you should not be in a relationship. You shouldn't even pursue no relationship. You shouldn't even pursue somebody if you have commitment issues. Commitment phobia, otherwise known as relationship anxiety, is when you have a fear of relationships. Many past events could have caused this, such as witnessing your parents getting a divorce, growing up with a single parent who was always in toxic relationships can affect you, or being in toxic relationships yourself. As a result, you might hesitate being vulnerable and instead be afraid that the other person will either abandon you or you go into the relationship thinking that the person will disappoint you. If this is an ongoing issue, you need therapy, because something in your past has messed up your head when it comes to relationships, healthy relationships. This is an ongoing issue. It's best to visit a therapist and get insight on how to manage this phobia while learning techniques that help you practice vulnerability, because it is not normal to meet somebody who is nice and automatically start saying, oh, she's going to cheat. Oh, she's going to lie. Oh, she's this. Oh, she's that. And you just met this person. You have a phobia when it comes to relationships, which if you don't get it addressed, you're going to always have problems with relationships. You're going to have your honeymoon period. The honeymoon period is free and easy. Most relationships have a honeymoon period. They have the new car smell. Most relationships, you don't start off slapping each other and beating each other up. Well, some people, I guess they do. But most of us, we don't start like that. So 5 signs you're not ready for a healthy relationship. Number 1 was you put yourself first before anyone else. You're prideful and think you're always right. You always depend on your partner to make you happy. Like that's their job. You expect your partner to read your mind. Like that's their job. You have commitment issues, but you want to be in a relationship.